Welcome back to Lucid9 part... Shit, I just counted. 11, I think? Yeah, part 11. So, I'm actually having fun. Enjoying this a lot. They don't pay you to think, Ben. Oh, I never got my peach. Little Peaches McGillicuddy over here. I'm gonna make that my wallpaper. Just her eating a peach. I don't know why it makes me so happy. Alright, so... Right, we just got done at, what, the karaoke? Wherever we are. Alright, oh yeah, we were headed to Mr. Ryuta's office. I'm gonna drop by to school. You got it. Bye. No peach. Part ways and take the subway back to the academy. As Masato and Yahiko enter their dorm, I head to Ryuta's office. Was he always wearing a red sweater? Seems different. Mr. Ryuta seems surprised at my unannounced drop-in, but not displeased. He ushers me into his office with a faint smile. Interesting. Didn't think I'd see you. Do you have an appointment soon? Oh wait, that's me. Who, me? Nah, I'm pretty much a free bird after I verify curfew. Why do you get paid again? Hey, you clearly don't know how difficult my job is. I have to sit here, wait for kids to scan themselves in the building, report the ones who don't by curfew time. Doesn't necessarily set oneself up for popularity. No, I imagine it doesn't. So, looking into the disappearances, are you? Surprised that it's a cute observation, but I really shouldn't be. Mr. Ryuta has proven he's intelligent, even if his attitude needs a little work. I noticed that the detective was with you yesterday. You know, on the roof. Does that mean you're gonna stop me? If the school has nothing to hide, then Mr. Ryuta would be the one... If the school has nothing to hide, then Mr. Ryuta would be the one tasked to stop me. Ha! Why would I do that? Huh? Look, kid, there's a lot of security around the school. Lots of regulations, privacy contracts, anything you can think of and beyond. As faculty, I can't share any personal information on the students or I'll get in massive trouble. But there's some stuff you really need to know. People's lives are on the line. Lives? Come on, don't act dumb on me. You must have figured it out by now that these are murders. I had a hunch, but when he says it so flatly, I lose my breath. 3 students who had once lived normal lives full of homework and social drama and extracurricular activities were now gone. The reality of it seemed very cold and bleak. So what are you saying? Doesn't it really bother you, kid? Murders are happening, but no one's telling the public. They're just mysterious disappearances that are blamed on a bunch of trees. Oh, it does suck, but the government has always hidden all kinds of things from the public. And you're saying you're okay with that? What if the next disappearance is me, Masato, or Rui? I can't answer that. Just this morning, I was stricken senseless at the mere thought that Rui was the next disappearance. Yeah, and we went crazy and hallucinated. I even boarded a bus and had gone all the way to Isamu Forest. Completely lost all rational thought. Should probably share that with somebody. You're right, but what are you saying? All I'm getting is I need to know the stuff that you can't tell me. I'm not allowed to tell you. It doesn't mean I can't. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, keep it on the DL. Means he wants to save people, but he could lose his job. Sharing confidential information won't just result in a pink slip. He could be blacklisted from every future job. Just trusting all that on me. The world's most serious NDA. Will you sign it? So I appear to have this trend of making dangerous agreements recently, so sure. What was the other one? Mr. Ryota's shoulders dropped just slightly. Relaxed of a tension that I hadn't sensed. Where's my, This really is becoming a ritual. I'm gonna dig around and look for something at the beginning of every fucking recording. Of course, all the burden is on him. I don't think I have any more fluconazole. Oh wait. Nope. Should probably go to the pharmacy so I don't die. Been without it for a week. Maybe that's why I'm sick. I don't know. Of course, all the burden's on him. If I break my promise, he'll be the one to pay. Or if someone overhears, he'll be the one to pay. Better take him seriously. So, what do I need to know? There's a weird trend in the victims that I thought you should know. I'm guessing there's a reason why you're not sharing this with the police? Yeah, you got me. What exactly does that mean? Police are our best bet at catching this killer. What could I do compared to them? And what is this weird trend? Give me a moment. He reaches into his drawer for his faculty tablet, tapping rapidly on its surface. A moment of waiting passes before he gracelessly bangs it on the table. I hate computers. But we'd all be dead without them. Continues. The distant look in his eyes clearly shows me he's thinking of a fonder time. You know what was great? My desktop iPair. Okay, but... Oh, I get it. iMac, Macintosh, Apple. Hair. Stable, awesome, and a killer whirl of the fan. Fuck. Oh. You guys don't know how satisfying it is to hear your computer work to keep itself cool. It's kinda weird. No casual user has desktops anymore. I'm gonna guess Nokia. Oh, and Nokia phones. Man, phones these days break if you breathe on them wrong. Yeah, they were durable, but I don't know. There we go. Finally got it. He punches rapidly at the tablet screen, then, apparently satisfied, settles back into his chair. What an old man. What a silly old man. Let me browse through for a quick refresher. As his eyes rove over the screen, his mouth settles into a thin, disturbed line. Right. So, you know how the entry student application to the academy requires a psychological analysis by a qualified physician, yes? I do now. So, applying to the school requires psychological analysis. Yeah, another security measure, isn't it? Let me read this and see what you think. Midori Maino, the first disappearance. Chronic social anxiety, suspected autism. She was an artist, holed up in her room a lot. She made the most beautiful paintings. Toma Hayashi, the second disappearance. Always out on the party scene. Kind of a screwed up kid, to be honest. He was always causing trouble to get some attention. Had to slap him on the wrist a few times for vandalism. He was practically Michelangelo when it came to drawing the lower half of the male body. What? That's really specific. Thanks. Totally didn't need to know that. So what, are you just good at drawing penises? Just recovered a memory from high school. Not that they were graphically great, but just to draw penises all over everything. Anyway, Kane Tsukino is the third victim. She's a really sad story. Had a lot of potential. Name still sounds familiar. She was the vice president of the school student council and star of badminton club. Badminton? She just accepted a special internship at Lemniscate too. Sounds like a lot for one person to handle. It was. Her family put a lot of expectations on her shoulders. She was their key to a better life, you know. A breeding ground for depression, if you ask me. Scholarship winner. And she had a boyfriend. How's that? Crazy. Oh yeah. I pause at that. Something feels disrespectful about questioning the sanity of the dead. Yeah, 'cause we got into a fight with the boyfriend and we said something pretty fucked up. I mean, it's not, but it's definitely not something you would say to that person at the time, or ever. So, those are the three victims. Seemed like they had some concerning psychological problems. I mean, they're all perfectly acceptable levels of mental illness, but there's not a single average report. In fact, most of the conditions sounded pretty serious. Serious and confidential. I can see why Mr. Ryota was reluctant to tell me, but this pattern really could be the key to unlocking the mystery. Why? Point out one high school student that doesn't have some kind of mental or behavioral whatever. Thanks for telling me. I'm kinda curious, kid, why are you taking this so well? 'Cause... Sorry? You just found out that 3 students at the school were murdered. Pretty unsettling news. It is, really. Death, a permanent condition. Something that students really shouldn't have to face. My reaction must seem odd. Should I be hyperventilating? On the contrary, this is pretty refreshing. But it's also concerning. I'll admit that. Well, I won't question it tonight. It's getting pretty late. Better get going. It's not safe for students to be out and about anymore. Thanks for the info, Mr. Ryota. More than that, I'm thankful he was able to trust me. But that doesn't seem like helpful information or worth telling anybody. Alright, so all 3 of them, severe social anxiety, party kid, troublemaker, and an overstressed, overworked kid with too much riding on her. I don't see a pattern. I leave the school after Mr. Ryota gets a campus security patrolman to escort me home. Seeing policemen inside the campus unnerves most students, so they're mainly kept for border patrol, making sure that no one enters or leaves the school. I've barely seen them, to be honest. They probably don't act unless something suspicious crops up at the on the gate sensors. Hello. Hey. Hello. Where are you? Her voice is clipped, leaving no room for any extra conversation. Good evening to you too. Your services are required now. A little taken aback by the shortness of her tone. Seems like some urgent business. Okay, I'm in front of the school. Very well, I'm near there myself. Don't move. Sorry? Oh? Well, that was expected, if I'm honest with myself. What kind of business could Shigeru have at this time of night? Ishiyama. That was very quick. Shigeru struts out of the shadows, face completely expression. Oh no. Did it occur to you I might have things to do tonight? It did not. Come, this way. So, am I misreading that? Is that not a smile? She turns on her heel and begins to strut down the sidewalk. We travel in complete silence, definitely at first. If I'm only able to bear it, for around 10 minutes before things get too uncomfortable. You know, if you're mad at me, you could just say it. I should discuss these psychological problems with Shigeru. No, ooh, what am I thinking? I should wonder if my sources are accurate. I'll either have to tell her my informant or drop the issue. Knowing Shigeru, even if I don't give her the identity of my informant, she'll figure it out eventually. Well, you could always tell her the information as though you came up with it yourself. Shigeru takes a turn into an area that I instantly recognize, for better or worse. This is where we did that scavenger hunt. Nothing is as welcoming as the smell of rotting litter, cigarettes, and traces of burning drugs. Burning drugs? What do you think drugs are? Oh my goodness. Burning drugs. I'm sorry. I cover my face with my sleeve in a vain attempt to block out the foul smell. Isn't this District 6? Don't tell me, you're giving me another test, aren't you? This is where Peaches McGillicuddy lives. Quiet Shigeru is far more unnerving than an abusive one. I almost miss her cannon of verbal assault. We have arrived. She gestures to a large, beaten-down apartment complex before us. The dilapidated buildings and streets around us don't do wonders for this district's notoriety, that's for sure. Why are we here? An inkling in the back of my mind whispers, to kill you without anyone seeing. But I shove it into some crevice in my brain. Shigeru withdraws a simple index card from her jacket pocket, showing it to me. This. There are only 3 numbers written on it. 338. Apartment 338? Hey, I was right. She only nods. I follow her down the path between the apartments, surreptitiously glancing around for any signs of suspicious figures. Definitely not my idea of a vacationing spot. Finally, Shigeru comes to a short stop in front of a door with the number 338 emblazoned on it. She clears her throat for a second, takes a deep breath, and knocks lightly thrice. Give me a minute! A voice that comes from within the apartment is light, feminine, and nothing like what I expected. It's followed by the sounds of scraping, shifting, and screeching, as if a number of heavy objects are being moved around the room. Come in! Shigeru tries the doorknob and turns it with ease. She pushes open the door and I step inside, unsure of what to expect. The front room's neat, tidy, and utterly plain. The only messy feature is a few cushions scattered idly about the floor, topped with several popular magazines. It's Peaches! Or not. Well, if it isn't the great detective herself. Is this weirdo? My attention turns to the large couch near the center of the room, upon which lounges a small framed girl. It's Elizabeth's cheering squad coach person that, like, knows that we have split personality. Somehow. Her clothes are edgy but neat, although her eyes are a deep chocolate brown. Some of the coldest I've ever seen. We do know who she is. What brings you to this side of town, Inamoto? Shigeri sits on a nearby cushion stiffly. As always, I'm deficient of requisite intelligence. Oh yeah, you're always lacking intelligence. Burn. Of the informative sort. Girl only smirks and turns to me. Predatory glint in her eyes snaps everything into place. Natsuki Tanaka. The interesting, unnerving friend of Elizabeth Oshiro. The way she sits, the clothes she wears, even the color of her eyes are all drastically different from school. But I know with certainty that she's the same person. The angles to her expression, the tilt of her posture, it's the exact same. So what, colored contacts? Oh, how interesting. Thought that I'd have a swarm of questions, that I'd be shocked, but I'm not. Not really. I almost feel like a small part of me had been expecting something like this. Odd. Especially from Natsuki. What, is being a student just a cover, or are you actually one? To be or not to be? Surely that is the question. Shigeri clears her throat impatiently. As content as the two of you appear exchanging pleasantries, I am here regarding a matter of urgency, Natsuki. Natsuki raises a single eyebrow. You know my price. Yes, how much yen shall... Don't feign ignorance, Inamoto. It doesn't suit you. Your almighty brain should be able to remember something as trivial as my currency. Is it drugs? What? Certainly you didn't think I would forget something as important as that. Wait, what? Shigeri mumbles something indiscernible while pulling her cap over her face. Maybe that's why she was so quiet. She wasn't angry at me, she was dreading coming here. What would you have me do? Oh. Natsuki catches my eye, a mischievous glimmer in her gaze. What's your favorite animal, Ishimoto? And do choose something reasonable. Not a duck-billed platypus, yes? Why? She only winks at me. Guess I'll have to give her an animal to find out. I want to say dog out of the options, but I feel like we're going to do something gross to it, so... Chicken. She's probably going to eat it. Chicken, I guess? She smirks at Shigeri, who sends me a look of horror. Ishiyama, we'll need another talk concerning your pay. Huh? Natsuki clearly vanishes into an adjacent room. When she emerges after a few minutes, she's holding a full-size chicken costume. Put this on, Inamoto. Oh my lord. What is this? Crumbling, Shigeri yanks the costume over her clothes and zips it up. Wait, what? Satisfied? She really did put it on. Give me a nice loud buck buck buck. Aw, what is her problem? Seeing Shigeri so subdued is pretty unnerving. Can't believe that such a proud person would stoop so low. What kind of person is this Natsuki? Now, Yama Ishimoto. The chicken isn't capable of speaking English, so you'll have to be Shigeri's mouthpiece. Before that, however, I believe we have some catching up to do. What are you, an ordinary, ignorant civilian, doing caught up in nasty business like student murders? Huh. like this girl. Like, I mean, she seems pleasant enough, but there's just enough of what we don't know about her that seems like it could still be terrible. I don't know. I work for Shigeri. Dear Enomoto picked you to work for her? Oh, isn't that precious? Two useless fools bumbling around together. A washed-up, headstrong detective who's blinded at the first sign of murder, and an irresponsible, selfish teenager who takes nothing seriously. Look, we're trying to help, man. Stop being a bitch. You're right, we're still learning, but we're trying to help. It'd be better if you leave this to the professionals. You can't exactly say the police are doing a much better job. Please. The police are about as professional as taco-selling clowns. Are you not aware of the pathetic state of their CCTV coverage? Why, one can hardly see anything that happens around the city. I'm sure Enomoto found this as an unpleasant surprise while she was investigating into the school. Really, the student's obsession with privacy is just adorable. Think how easy the killer could be caught with a few more camera installations. And who are these so-called professionals? People with knowledge. Knowledge is power. Yeah, hence why we need it. Oh, for what purpose? This seems self-defeating. Like, why would she give it to me if I'm just gonna do the same thing she's gonna do with it? I don't know what the right answer is. I guess let's try that. We saved it. Gonna keep it, and when the time's right, sell it. See other people grovel in humiliation for it. Because that seems like a nice thing to do for humanity, wouldn't you agree? Burn. She only takes this barb with a laugh. You're cute. Maybe I should keep you. Can I keep him, Enomoto? I will... Bok, bok, bok. She waves her index finger at Shigeri. What are chickens supposed to say, Enomoto? Bok, bok, bok. What a bitch. I think that means I can keep you. Her treatment of Shigeri sends a spiral of nausea straight to my gut. What a deplorable human being. I don't even have an answer for her. Natsuki evaluates my expression for a moment, and something in her face changes slightly. Would you like a drink? No. What, are you gonna poison it? It's a bit of a rude assumption. Not a baseless one. I do show courtesy to my guests. Yeah, you've been super courteous. She continues to examine me, a slight smirk pulling at her lips. Good to know you aren't as weak as you appear. Would you like coffee, tea, milk? Manners would be nice. She ignores this, heading out of the room. She faintly calls behind her as she leaves. Wonder what our little chickadee would have. I do have some moldy corn I've been meaning to throw it away. Maybe I can dump it in a bowl for her. Shigeri huffs at this, but keeps her mouth shut until Natsuki's completely left the room. She pulls herself over to me, her voice low and urgent. Take control of the conversation and get the information. I can't stand much more of this. Yeah, why didn't you tell me anything before we got here? How am I supposed to do that? I don't even know anything about the case. Natsuki has amazing connections. She has information a lot of others don't. So long as I pay her what she wants, we can get it from her. What am I supposed to do about that? Shigeri opens her mouth to answer, but at Natsuki's approaching footsteps, she quickly shrinks back onto her cushion. Natsuki re-enters the room, placing a glass of iced tea before me and a glass of water before Shigeri. Surreptitiously sniff it, which she catches. Using that word a lot. If you don't mind indirect kisses, I could sip it for you, provided to prove it isn't poisoned. I'll pass. She smirks, settling on the couch. Guess this is my chance to ask some questions. It could be drugged, and she could have a tolerance to the drug. So, how do you and Shigeri know each other? Shigeri shoots me a dark glare as if to say, what does that have to do with anything? But I ignore it. As you may have noticed, we have this symbiotic exchange from time to time. I have information that she needs, so she pays me for it. How do we know this is reliable information? You could just be making it up. Natsuki raises an eyebrow, seemingly impressed. Enomoto thought the same on our very first interaction, so I gave her a free trial period. She's yet to find me wrong. Isn't that right, Chickie? Well, balk, balk, balk. And there you have it. She turns to me expectantly, as if waiting for my move. Wonder what I should ask about. Probably gonna go through all of these, but I guess, yeah, who's doing it? Tell me about the culprit. These are serial murders, aren't they? Oh, certainly. What would you like to know first? Age, legal name, address, social security number, place of residence? She's joking, right? She has to be joking. Obviously, if such things could be so easily known, the police wouldn't be scrambling for clues as they currently are. Joking, of course. There's no way it could be that easy. So, what do you know about them? Well, for that, you may have to do a little thinking of your own. Consider this. The number of student disappearances has skyrocketed just recently. Why? School started? Because the killer just started? Such clean getaways? Then the killer is working with someone. A valid possibility, but think simpler. Killer changed targets to the academy. I wonder. It'd be more useful to interrogate a teapot. I decided to try a different line of inquiry. Is this case related to any other cases? Or perhaps there's some info that we can merge? Now you're asking the right questions. You know, the two of you have been so exemplary, I'll even give you a little treat. What do you say? No. Sure, I guess. Natsuki doesn't seem to be fazed by my lack of enthusiasm. She slowly leans forward, enunciating each syllable with painstaking precision. The independent killings. What? These mean nothing to me, but Shigeri immediately bolts up, her eyes glimmering with excitement. Tanaka, you must, We're not in Narnia, Enomoto. Talking animals do not exist. Shigeri sullenly settles to the ground, but I can tell that this is a vital breaking point. What are the independent killings? For the past 2 years, 2.5 perhaps, they've been sporadic, brutal murders all around Isamu. Half a murder? Innocent civilians with no relation to one another were massacred in the most terrible of deaths, left as bleeding corpses in the streets. The only connection was their time of death, which was always at night, and their autopsies, death by blood loss from uncountable lacerations. Wasn't that exsanguination? Uncountable lacerations. My head spins. The vision from the forest this morning re-enters my thoughts. Yup, what's that even mean? Cut to pieces, skinned alive, sliced until the life bled out of them. Is Natsuki implying that the 3 students at the academy went through something like that? How could no one know about this? The police did their utmost to conceal knowledge from the public, lest even more chaos fall in the city. We deserve to know when these things happen. Oh, Ishimoto. The last thing you want to do is tell a herd of sheep there's a wolf in their midst. The way she says this, as if she's right and that's all there is to it, irritates me. But I have to push it away in order to continue the conversation. So, you're saying this case is the same as the independent killings? Did I say that? Then the killer is the same. Wait, what? Did I say that? Shigeri leaps forward, words tumbling excitedly out of her mouth. Killer is one and the same for the longest time. Hush, Inamoto. Remember, chickens can't speak. Shigeri withdraws, a dark glare in her eye. Why do you treat Shigeri like that? You can say that even after seeing how she treats everyone around her. She pretends as if everyone around her is trash beneath her feet, simply giving her a taste of her own medicine. Not exactly the best line of logic, but I guess if I had power over Shigeri, I wouldn't want to forget in a hurry. Still, this method just feels wrong. Even I had a hard time stomaching her treatment, and I'm not even going through it. It'd be better if I could consult her. I'm not sure what to ask. Then how about something more interesting, such as she lounges against the couch. Well, for one, yesterday, you were in a most compromising position with Rui Hayata on the Ferris wheel. What? A bolt of ice plunges into my stomach. I thought she only knew general information. Mystery information, crime information. How could she know about that? It seems there's quite an interesting story behind that. Who told you? You presume that someone needed to tell me in order for me to know. Did you access the security cameras? Were you there? That's certainly an interesting possibility. Nothing she says is satisfactory. Nothing. How did you know? How did you know about that? I forget what exactly happened on the Ferris wheel. I think we almost kissed or something, and then we started playing make-believe. Same way I know that you were in District 6 3 nights ago on Inamoto's ridiculous capacity test. Same way I know that you watched a most entertaining, albeit mindless, robot fight at the theme park. Same way I know that your apartment key code is the frankly pitiful 14789. She pauses, her eyes glittering in amusement. Womanly intuition. What, does she work at the NSA or something? She's insane. Make it my business to know everything, Ishimoto. I work to speak past my dry throat. Nobody can know anything, everything. You're right. I just know everything that matters. I raise the glass of iced tea to my lips, but my hands are shaking. Why are you telling me this? 'Cause, well, I have a little message for you. She elegantly rises to her feet, but her eyes have regained their cold sheen. Back off, Yama Ishimoto. You don't know what you're dealing with. how did her eyes change? She grabs the glass from my frozen hands and heads to the kitchen. Don't forget the animal on your way out. Shigure, seething with a mixture of rage and humiliation, promptly rips off the costume. Tanaka, you're with Natsuki suddenly whips around, staring Shigure dead in the eyes. Then, in one fluid motion, she stuffs something into Shigure's pocket and whisks into the kitchen. Huh? Shigure stares at whatever Natsuki gave to her, then motions sharply to me. Ishimoto, we're leaving now. Hold on. I'm gonna save and just run through that again. See what different shit we can pick. Because I'm not entirely satisfied with how that went. I guess this doesn't ultimately matter. I'm gonna wear a cat costume. Cat, I guess. We will need another talk concerning your pay. Okay, yep, cat costume. Just out of curiosity, is it gonna be a dog costume? Fuck. One click. Okay, yep. Alright, so that doesn't seem to matter one way or the other. Blah 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 blah. Meow. Seeing Shigure so subdued is pretty unnerving. Now, Yame Ishimoto, cat's incapable of speaking English, so you have to be Shigure's mouthpiece. Before that, however, I believe we have some catching up to do. Want to fight for what's right. How very noble of you. What, is that such a bad thing? You're lying about it, yes. I know how boys like you work, Ishimoto. You're so afraid of being nothing that you'll just do the oddest things to stand out. Solving murders seems to be a good way to start, don't you think? What is even her deal? Isn't it precious? Yeah, I've said this already. Isn't Shigure a professional detective? Natsuki's grin widens. Please, that amateur? You shouldn't be sticking your nose in these sorts of things. Both of you should be leaving this to the professionals. With your level of incompetency, even a fountain of information would be of little use. Can't exactly say the police are doing a much better job. Yeah, taco selling clowns. Shitty closed-circuit TV, something. Word that follows. Unpleasant surprise, student's obsession with privacy. Could have figured it out with a few more cameras. I, on the other hand, have to clench my hands against the keep my temper. Still, we want it. Oh, and what are you gonna do with it? Look at it because it's pretty? Alright, so this answer made her happy, but it's not why we're... Use it to save lives and stop this repulsive killer. Oh, how childish. I'd rather be childish than a pretentious jerk. She only laughs at this. You're cute. Maybe I should keep you. Can I keep him, Enomoto? I will What are cats supposed to say, Enomoto? I think that means I can keep you. Your treatment of Shigure sends a spiral of nausea straight to my gut. Deplorable human being. Seeing something in her face changes slightly. Would you like a drink? Yeah, your nice glass of go fuck yourself. Yeah, you've been super courteous. Good to know you aren't as weak as you appear. Coffee, tea, milk. The manners would be nice. I wonder what our little kitten would have. Do you have some expired milk I've been meaning to throw away? Or I can dump it into a bowl for her. Bitch! Shigeri huffs at this, but keeps her mouth shut until she's completely out of the room. She says the same thing she said before. Bitch is back in the room with iced tea, and we smell it. Talking about cooties. How do you guys know each other? I will kill you. Look. Symbiotic exchange. I have stuff she needs, so she pays for it. She'd be lying to us. No, she, wait, what did that say? Free trial period. ... meow. And there you have it. So, we didn't get to pick victims last time. The victims. Tell me about the victims. 3 to date, and a 4th on the way. How do you know that? A criminal never stops until his goal is met or he's caught. Neither of those occur, there will be a 4th. Do you know his goal? I know it's not met. Victims appear to have no rhyme or reason for their disappearance. But that is false. Everyone's simply looking at the wrong thing, including you. Well, Yama is maybe, but not me. Because he's thinking about, like a link between their mental conditions. I'm thinking more like it's just opportunity. Because I mean, that's not fair because he doesn't get to see the blood boner man doing his blood boner stuff, but it doesn't really seem to matter who they are. He just wants people to hack up because he's like gross. The person giving him the people, however, he might, the person gathering the people for him to murder and slap up, including you, which means, well, instead of looking for a connection between the victims, it would be best to look for a connection with the killer. Which is difficult to do if we don't know who the killer is. I wonder. This topic's looking like a dead end. Gonna try something else. I guess we'll do the culprit also since we did this. What do you want? His first name, legal address. Skip! Okay, I want to skip too far. Oh. Now you're asking the right questions. Blah, 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 blah. Independent killings. Tanaka, we're not in Narnia, Inamoto. Talking animals do not exist. What are the independent killings? Oh, 2.5 years. Sporadic, brutal murders all around Isamo. Innocent civilians with no relation to one another who were massacred in the most terrible of deaths, left as bleeding corpses in the street. So we've only had 1 full week of school and 3 people murdered. Only connection was time of death and manner of death. Could no one know about this? We deserve stuff. Don't tell sheep there's a wolf among them. Yeah, just let the sheep all get ate up. Killer's the same. Killer's one and the same for the longest time. Shut up, Inamoto. You're a cat. Go sit in the corner and lick your butt. say that even after seeing how she treats everyone. She's rude to everyone, so I'm being rude to her. Ferris wheel. Spying on me. Just wanted to... all I really want to see else is, how exactly her eyes change. So I noticed they did change somehow, I just didn't... Okay, my key glittering in amusement. Womanly intuition. She's nuts. Make it my business to know everything. Nobody can know everything. No, I just know everything that matters. Okay, it's coming up. Raise a glass of iced tea to my lips, but my hands are shaking. So let's slap a save there. Why are you telling me this? Because, well, I have a little message for you. Yeah, here it comes. She elegantly rises to her feet, but her eyes have regained their cold sheen. What happens to her eyes? Nothing. They just ever so slightly changed the angle the light was hitting it. Back off. You don't know what you're fucking with. Yeah, don't forget the animal on your way out. Okay. You're withholding. Stuff something into her pocket. Let us GTFO. I don't even get a say as I'm forcibly dragged out of the apartment and back to the street. Stagger into the cutting night air, out of breath and stooped over in shock. Take a moment to gather my thoughts before I can force out any words. Why'd you bring me here? To be miserable, to show me I was in over my head? To give me yet another reason why I'm an incompetent subordinate? I can't handle her alone. I don't think we handled her together. Actually, that was the most bearable she's ever been. Either my Shigeri translator just became embedded into my subconscious, or this woman is speaking like everyone else now. Oops. Not only that, she actually gave a compliment that wasn't backhanded. Who is this imposter and what has she done with Shigeri? Nevertheless, Ishimoto, you're fired. Wait, what? Did she just call me by... oh wait, she's firing me? She always calls me Ishimoto. Always. Yes, I'm firing you. You have fulfilled all necessary services. No longer see reason to expend resources on a useless assistant. Seems almost back to normal. Almost. But it's too abrupt for me to believe that she's being genuine. If you interfere with my work, I'll have you detained. Do have connections with the police. Prefer not to use it, but I will if I must. Why? Oddly enough, Shigeri seems to falter at this simple inquiry. It's for your own safety. You must trust me. I knew that was why. Trust. That is a nice word. And this has nothing to do with Natsuki's warning on how I should stay out of this. Truly, you were my assistant for a reason. What is that supposed to mean? It is of little consequence. You were fired because you no longer fit the job. Clench my jaw to hold back impulsive anger, which was basically being an errand boy. Pardon me if I fail to see the extensive qualifications that an errand boy needs to fulfill. Let me tell you my own theory, huh? The independent killings. You know an awful lot about them, considering they're supposed to be hidden from the general public. You were involved in those cases in some way, weren't you? And when you noticed the 2 students had disappeared from the allegedly impervious academy, something clued you in that they had to be tied to the independent killings. Maybe it was evidence, probably just intuition, considering you had to get Natsuki to confirm it for you. Ishimoto, you do not understand. So you saw the students that were disappearing from the academy. 4 days ago, you decided you needed to get inside and figure out for yourself what was happening. But security's tight. You couldn't hope to just snoop around unless someone willingly let you in. In the midst of my indignant wrath, puzzle pieces begin to shuffle into place. God damn it! Pulling together faint memories that I thought I'd forgotten. So you had to approach a student. You had to make a specific connection. Someone who would let you investigate the school without asking any questions. You hired me before you were officially brought into the investigation, after all. Well, it's true, isn't it? You just needed me to use the you just needed to use me to access the academy. That's why you approached me on the street that day. Go home, Ishimoto. She says this wearily. I can only sigh in disbelief. What was the test for? Why'd you send me to some place that was dangerous or some place I couldn't handle? But I had, and I did. I solved all of her stupid little puzzles. I had proven myself fair and square. For what? Being tossed away like garbage? No. Now I understand. What upsets me is not that Shigeri approached me with ulterior motives. I expect ulterior motives from everyone. What upsets me is what she's doing now. Tell me how. Ishimoto, tell me, Shigeri, how do I prove myself? Give me some riddle or some logic puzzle. I don't know, complicated piece of Sudoku. I'm supposed to help, supposed to be your assistant. Shigeri slams her foot into the nearest trash can. It doesn't topple, but the reverb of leather against tin stops me in my tracks. She leans close, eyes narrowed with intensity. Ishimoto, I will only say this once. You may think you fully understand the circumstances which surround these crimes, but you are sorely mistaken. Do not be so quick to forget that I am nearly a decade your senior. I've seen a great many cases that are beyond your comprehension. I speak not of your intelligence, but your mental capacity. So, you think because this is grown-up stuff, basically. You are yet very fragile, Ishimoto, and this case may break you. Didn't worry you before. Let me ask this of you. Are you ready to physically examine a body that's been masterfully taken apart by a sadist with all the time in the world? No, just the thought makes me queasy. There has to be something else I can do. Enough. I'm tired of this conversation. This is my decision, Ishimoto. I will be certain to compensate you for the time spent until now. Go home safely. So what, that's it then? Because I'm still young, because I'm too unstable to be able to see a mutilated body. Can't be of any use. Shigeri. Farewell, Ishimoto. Let us not meet again. But you're friends with Peaches! Just like that, she turns on one heel and strides away. For a moment, I stand frozen in the streets, watching her figure melt into the smoky evening air. Didn't I want a quiet senior year? Year breezing by with my friends, no fuss, no muss. I'd always wanted a quiet life. Probably something that involved managing the family restaurant, which I had neither passion nor patience for. It seemed like the least painful option in the lot of life. Oh yeah. He has parents. Really? I can't blame Shigeri, can I? No, some part of me still feels I deserve a better explanation. Maybe even a reward. After all, didn't I get her something vital from Natsuki Tanaka? Ah, no, that's right. I'm withholding information from her. Information that I gathered from a confidential informant. Information that won't help anybody. Perhaps she doesn't trust me, but neither have I been trusting her. If anything, this encounter only solidified my decision. I don't know what will happen. I can't predict the actions of the people who are close to me. All that's left is to look around and keep digging. Try to pull things together myself, even if I'm just a random student at a random stuck-up school. Which means I need to start with anything weird that's happened over the past few days. Weird? Such as, yeah, emails from the unknown senders sporadically popping up. Senders? Just one person, Crimson something or other. Pretty convenient timing when I think about it. Maybe I should just send something random, see how they respond. Yeah. Sunday? Lemnipost. Oh, I guess that's like Gmail. At first, I thought there was nothing stupider than doing something that made no sense, regardless of whether I enjoyed it or not. Today changed my mind about that. There are things worth doing, even if at first glance they make no sense. There are things that can be appreciated, even if they serve no use. There are things that deserve to be given a chance even at their worst. But I didn't realize this until too late. Stupid troll wisdom. Now, to head back home and get some rest. This has been a long day. I dream pools of sludge and laughing bones and shards of glass splitting across the edge of my skin. No, that's what you hallucinated this morning. Wake up in a cold sweat with my heart thumping against my ribs. For a moment, I could only lie there breathlessly, struggling to recollect my thoughts. It's over. You'll never have to do stupid, dangerous things again. You no longer have anything to do with those crimes. Unless, of course, it's by my own volition. I throw on my uniform and head to the kitchen, selecting some simple fruit for breakfast as I search through my phone. Like a peach? No, it wouldn't be the same if he was holding it. Looks like I have another email from the mysterious Crimson Crusade. I see. Life as a troll sounds quite difficult. I too would be upset if I was forbidden from forecasting the weather. How do you feel about this development? Forecasting the weather? Didn't they say something about that? Whatever. The plain, honest words are a soothing balm in the midst of all the deception I've undergone. Compose a valid response. I don't know. This was the first time I actually felt like I was good at something useful. Now that it's gone, I have nothing. If I had another chance, I'd take it eagerly, but I doubt I'll get one. I sent the message as I finished up breakfast, waiting for a response. This time, I'm only greeted with silence. Maybe I was too philosophical. Maybe I was too serious. Maybe they won't respond again. Or maybe... Not that it's my problem. Alright. When it's clear the reply won't come anytime soon, grab my backpack and head to school. I don't remember how long I've been doing this, but I feel like most of them have been running way longer than I'd like, so I'm just gonna cut it here and then keep going. On to part 12.